Hello students, so today we'll be seeing about Unit 5. So in Unit 5 you will be learning the basics of extraction of data from the web, grabbing the content from a web page, and you will be learning about sending data on the web, troubleshooting basic Arduino issues, and you will be learning about type of IoT interaction, mission to mission interaction. So we'll start with the first topic, extracting data from website. So it's nothing but extracting data from a website can be very useful, and it has a wide range of applications such as data mining, data analysis, and automated repetitive tasks. So with a vast amount of data which is available on the internet, we will be using fresh data and we can analyze it and we can provide valuable insights and which helps you to make some decisions. So pulling information can help companies whether to buy or sell a particular product, and we can analyze the competitive advantages, and we'll be seeking some decision making scenarios. So there are endless applications when you pull data from relevant websites. So here we will be seeing about the methods of extracting data from a website, and it provides a step-by-step guide on how to do so, right? So we'll be seeing all the methods here. So it's nothing but it's basically you are using a wide range of applications and you will be performing data analysis and you will be performing data mining concepts to make some decisions. So here you will be seeing about extracting data from a website. So there are several methods here. So to extract data from a website, and we can choose a best method, so that it depends on the specific needs and it also depends on the structure of the website you are working with. So data extraction methods are listed here. So the first thing is creating your own scraper. We can extract the data by using web scraping services, official data APIs, by using web scraping tools, web browser extension, and manual copy paste. We can copy the data. So first we'll start from manual copy paste method. So it is one of the very simple method to extract data from a website, and it is simply copying the data and pasting the data into a spreadsheet or other document. So when you consider this method is suitable for small amounts of data, and it can be used when the data is easily accessible on the website. So when you consider the pros and cons of this particular manual copy paste, you have some advantages over here. So there is no risk of violating website terms of service. And when you consider the other pros, we can consider it is very ideal for ad hoc one-time data extractions and so on. So moving on to some disadvantages, it is very prone to human error and it cannot be scalable for ongoing large tasks. So moving on to the next method, we use web browser extensions. So considering several web browser extensions, it can help you to gather the process. So these extensions can be installed in your web browser and it allows you to select and extract specific data points from a website. So the advantage of using this web browser extensions are we can easily install and use directly into the browser, and it is very low cost solutions are available, and it is very accessible, right? So when you consider the disadvantages, it has limited customization options, and we can also have some blocked websites or outdated with browser updates, so that can also be done with web browser extensions. So next we'll move on to web scraping tools. So there are several no code tools available here, so which can help you to extract the data from a website. So when you consider these tools are used to navigate the website, and it extracts the specific data points based on your requirements. So considering the pros of this web scraping tools, there is no coding skills required, so it is very easy to access. And when you move on to the other advantage, it can be considered, we can handle large amounts of data efficiently. So moving on to some of the demerits, we can have it requires a paid subscription, so that can be considered as a disadvantage. And we have some limited flexibility compared to custom scrapers. So next we'll move on to official data APIs. So here many websites offer APIs so that allow you to access their data in a structured format. So by using all these APIs for web scraping, it can be a convenient way to extract the data from a website. So as you use the data is already organized and it is ready for use. And however, we can also consider some websites which can offer APIs, and these particular APIs have some restrictions on how the data can be used. This type of official data APIs provide structured and reliable data access. So, which also typically complies with the website terms of service and so on. And when you consider official data APIs, we have some disadvantages. We have limited data API providers which share some data. So the data is limited. So often we have usage restrictions and we have some range limits. So next we'll move on to web scraping services. So considering this type of service, it's used to extract data from a website. So these services handle the technical aspect of web scraping, and it also provides you with the data in your desired output format. So considering the advantage of this particular web scraping services, it outsources technical complexities, it also saves time, and it also handles proxies and IP rotation automatically. So these are the advantages over here. And when you consider the disadvantages, it can be little bit costlier for large scale projects, and we have some limited control over scraping process. So creation of a own scraper can also be possible here. So then you can so if you want to use those type of own scraper, you can use libraries like BS4 to extract the necessary data points out of the raw data. We have some advantages over here. So this process has a limitation, and that is we can call that as IP blocking. So if you want to use this type of process, we can have heavy scraping. Then you can have your IP will be which can be blocked by the host, and it can also be used for small projects, which is very cheaper and it can be manageable. So when you consider the advantages, it is highly customizable to specific data needs, and it can also bypass some limitations of pre-built tools. So considering some disadvantages over with this type of scraper, it requires programming skills and maintenance, and there are some risk of IP blocking or website detection. So we'll move on to the next slide. So here we'll be using some web browser extensions. So creating our own scraper using data extensions can also be possible. So several web browser extensions can help you in this process. So here we will be installing your web browser, and which allows you to select and extract specific data points from a website. So considering the website scrapping tools, we have so many tools here. So there are several no-code tools available, so that can help you extract data from a website. So these are the services which is given here, And here I told you before, creating our own scraper using Python to extract data is represented with this diagram. So first of all, you will be having identification of data should be done. So before you start with the process, it is very important to have a clear idea of what you want to extract and why it is needed. So this will help you to determine the best approach for extracting the data. So HTML website is given by the extension of HTTP connection. All raw HTML data will be collected, and then we have desired data points here. So next thing is you have to inspect the website structure. So you will have to understand how the website is structured and how the data is organized. So you can use some extensions like select gadget to identify the location of any type of element here. So considering the script, so after all these processes over, you have to prepare a script through which you are going to automate this process. So this script is mainly divided into two parts. So first you can consider to make an HTTP GET request to the target website, and in the second part you have to extract the data out of the raw HTML using some parsing libraries like BS4 and Cheerio. So this is all about creating our scraper using Python to extract data. So next we will be seeing about sending data on the web. It's a very important topic over here. So here first of all you should understand about the HTTP protocols. What are the methods used in HTTP protocols? So here understanding sending data on the web, it's nothing but data that can be sent over the web using various methods like get and post, so which is mainly used for file transfer services. So sending data via HTTP methods, we have some methods. As I told you before, we have get method, post method, and so on. So first, understanding the get method, we'll see what is get method. So this get method is used to request data from a specified resource. So when you use get method, the data is appended to the URL as query parameters. So for example, we can say submitting a form with get will result in a URL like www.google.com and so on. So you will have a URL. So however, we can say get has limitations on the amount of data and that can be used, and it is not suitable for sensitive information. So this is the use of get method where we can use to request data from a specified resource. So moving on to the post method, you have to understand what is the use of post method. So the post method is used to send data to a server, and it is used to create or update a resource. So unlike get method, the data sent via post is included in the body of the HTTP request, so allowing for large amounts of data without URL length restrictions. So comparatively, this method is preferred for sending sensitive information such as passwords and so on. So we have two methods, get and post. So understanding these two methods is very important here. And next we'll move on to sending files. So already you would have learned about sending files and sending data via APIs and so on. So first we'll see what is meant by sending files. So file transfer services is adapted here. So for sending large files, services like transfer now allows users to share all the files via email or shareable links. So when you consider sending of files, users can also upload files and send them without needing a subscription, making it a convenient option for file transfers. So next we'll move on to sending data via APIs. So here you have to consider API requests. So when interacting with the APIs, data can be sent using query parameters or in the request body. So for example, we can say when making a post request to an API, you can include JSON objects in the request body, which allows structured data transfer. So that is possible here. And by using HTML forms, we can specify that. So forms on web pages are accessible, and it is done by form element, and it is accessible via methods like get and post. So this is all about sending data on the web. So understanding all these concepts, get method, post method, sending files, sending data via APIs, using HTML forms, everything has to be done to send data on the web. So this is all about this topic. And next we'll move on to troubleshooting Arduino. So by understanding these methods and tools, we can go for troubleshooting Arduino issues. So there are many factors involved in uploading a program to your Arduino board, and we can consider any of them can be missed, or it can the upload of data can also fail here. So you can also check the following suggestions to help you to solve any potential problems. So I have listed some issues here. So the first issue we can consider that as you have to choose your right board and port, and you have to install all the drivers needed. Okay, so first this is the step. And in for example, the second step, still if you are getting an error, you can just check with the error message, and you can search for some options over there. So I'll tell you in detail about what item you have to choose, and then how you can proceed with this particular step. So the online cloud Arduino editor detects your board and port automatically. And if you are in offline Arduino Software IDE, you need to select both your board and your port manually using the condition. So the first thing is you have to make sure you have the right item selected in the tools board menu. So if you have Arduino UNO, you have to use that particular thing, and you have to check with the proper port which is selected. So that you have to select by using tools serial port menu. So these are the steps here. And considering with the other boards, you can also have some driver methods which provides a way for the software on your computer. For example, we can use Arduino software. So you can also connect it via tool serial port menu in the Arduino software with the Arduino board connected to your computer. So additional menu items can also be appeared. So you can also choose Arduino connected to your computer. And considering Windows 7, for example 64-bit version, you might need to go into the device manager, and you have to update the drivers for the Mega 2560. So you have to just right click on the device and point Windows at the appropriate INT file again. So this INF file in the drivers or directory of the Arduino software should be specified. So this will help you in managing the Arduino issues. So next we'll move on to um, IoT interaction basics. So, considering the IoT interaction, we have some common topics here. So, IoT interactions refer to the ways users engage with IoT devices or systems. So, when you consider these type of interactions, we have various settings, planning for future events, and configuring system preferences. So, understanding the different types of IoT interactions, we have three types mainly. So, we have short form, medium form, and long form. So, it's very crucial for designing user friendly and efficient IoT experiences. So, before going into short form, We let's talk about some IoT interactions in detail. So users engage in short form interactions. So before going to the before learning a short form, you have to understand some basic IoT interactions, which refers users can engage with IoT devices or systems. So these interactions will help you in adjusting settings, planning future events, configuring system preferences, and so on. So, first consider short form. We'll see what is meant by short form IoT interactions. So, this short form IoT interactions demand immediate attention. So, which occurs when users are dissatisfied with prevailing physical conditions, such as uncomfortable thermostat settings and so on. So, users driven by urgency are willing to invest time in swift issue. The interactions with a brief time frame, ideally ranging from 5 to 15 seconds, to manage these type of issues, the application should default to a screen facilitating the immediate adjustment of temperature. So this approach is very important. So this approach we call it as user centric approach. So which minimizes the information overload, and it is particularly useful for individuals already using with negative emotions due to the unexpected nature of interactions. So when you consider the characteristics of short form IoT interactions, it is used mainly in immediate needs. So users can engage in short form interactions when faced with immediate dissatisfaction with current physical conditions. For example, we can say uncomfortable room temperatures, urgency and time sensitivity, and so on. The application should present a straightforward screen for shift adjustments, avoiding information overload for users already in a negative mental state. So next we'll see what is meant by medium form. So medium form is nothing but the IoT interactions are more deliberate, and it requires users to consciously decide to engage with the applications. So when you consider these type of instructions, these instructions or interactions revolve around planning for future events, and it modifies different schedules. So unlike short form interactions, we can also have users can allocate mental time for plan changes, and it is ideal for duration. So the duration may extend from 15 to 30 seconds. So for temporary adjustments, for example, we can say vacations or any other social gatherings, users often receive advance notice, allowing them to configure the system accordingly. So introducing this type of system gives medium form interactions by analyzing users' behavior, and it also suggests some optimizations based on usage patterns. So it can also provides comfort and energy efficiency. So considering some wearable interfaces, we have smartwatches. It plays a vital role in representing suggestions within the user interactions. So this modifies the schedule seamlessly without the need to open the application. So when you consider the features of medium form IoT interactions, uh, it has a conscious decision. So users prefer medium form IoT interactions when consciously deciding to engage with the application. So based on the time allocation, these interactions require 15 to 30 seconds as users allocate mental time for the planned changes. So event-based adjustments can be done. So users may make temporary changes for every events, scenarios like vacations, social gatherings, and so on. So next we'll see the other type, long form IoT interactions. So considering the long form IoT interaction, it lasts up to 30 seconds or more. So they are very infrequent, and it typically involves substantial actions, and It also helps in modifying temperature limits and naming rooms. So here it is very useful to mitigate future you sorry it is very useful to mitigate user frustration, and it is very much used in long form interactions with the post initial setup. So users should be equipped with the short and medium form interactions. So the system's intelligence proactively provides suggestions with the context of their usage. So when you consider the features of long form IoT interactions, it is very rare and strategic, and long form IoT interactions last up to 30 seconds or more. And considering the users are willing to spend more time configuring the system using the initial setup phase when excitement is high. So concluding all these IoT interactions, so understanding of short, medium, and long form interactions is a vital role, and it is user friendly, provided with IoT experience. So as the IoT landscapes evolves, we can prioritize user centric design, and it is also very efficient for interactions, which is very useful for user satisfaction. So, addressing all these unique challenges, we can interact based on the category. So, IoT products can truly enhance the way users engage with the connected environments. So next we'll learn about machine-to-machine communication. So here you should understand what is machine-to-machine communication. So already you know what is meant by IoT. So connecting all the devices, sensors, and so on, we can say via the internet we can say it is IoT. And machine-to-machine communication enables devices and machines to communicate and exchange data without any human intervention. So when you consider machine-to-machine communication, we can have some various standards and protocols which supports M2M communication. For example, we can say MQTT, COAP, HTTP, ZigBee, Z-Wave, and so on. So moving on to the M2M architecture. So M2M architecture is designed in such a way that it is capable of used in which is capable of using all these applications in remote monitoring. It can also be done with predictive maintenance, automation, environmental monitoring, asset tracking, and more. So when you consider M2M architecture, we have some architecture components. First, you have to consider things and devices. So when you consider things and devices, these are equipped with the communication capabilities. So which always interact with the other components of the MTM system. So when you consider the range, it ranges from simple sensors and actuators to complex machines that can collect data or perform specific tasks. So based on the connectivity, devices require connectivity to communicate with each other, and it can exchange data. So the communication technologies can be wired or wireless, including cellular networks like 2G, 3G, 4G, or 5G, and so on. So here the connectivity can be based on wired, wireless, including cellular networks. It can include Wi-Fi, Ethernet, Zigbee, LoRaWAN, or by using satellite. So next we have network infrastructure. So when you consider this type of communications between devices and servers, it can be performed with cloud platforms, and it can also include switches, routers, or access point. We can also have base stations and other networking equipment, so which supports data transmission and routing. So we can have some other components like gateway, so it can also be used in M2M systems. So you know the purpose of using gateway, so I'll tell you again. So a gateway is needed for an intermediary between devices and servers or clouds. So it can perform functions such as data pre-processing, protocol translation, or security functions, and so on. So this gateway can enable devices having different protocols to communicate with each other. So moving on to the next part, we can have cloud platform or central server. So the cloud platform or central server serves as a central repository to collect data and process data, and it can also store data. So we can also have host applications and services for specific actions or analysis. And this cloud platform includes databases where data is stored for analysis, reporting, and it can also be used for retrieval. We can have analytics and other apps to analyze the data, pre-process the data, and we can also generate reports. So they are also used to trigger actions based on analysis. So moving on to the user interface, this can also be in the form of mobile apps or web portals. So they allow end users to monitor and control devices, and it can check overall system in a remote condition. So here we have M2M phases where data collection is represented initially, and after data collection we go for transmission of data through the network. So data assessment can be done in the third phase, and next finally action or response based on the assessment will be concluded. So considering the architecture of M2M, it can be categorized into four phases. So it can for the first phase, it's called as data collection. The second phase we call it as transmission of data through network, and the third phase we call it as data assessment, and the fourth phase we call it as action or response based on assessment. So the generic architectures is used here with some communication medium or network. So assessment of data collected and response to the machine based on the assessment can be done. So you can have multiple examples over here. So the smart meter records the electricity rate. So that can be an example. So which will be communicated to the software application over some medium using the internet. So M2M system supports a mechanism to manage and interact with multiple M2M applications. So here we have multiple M2M applications. It supports M2M transport network, which covers access network, core network, and applications domain. So moving on to M2M capabilities, we have some capabilities involved here. So the first thing is it's based on remote monitoring. Second is based on data collection and analysis, and we have automation of various processes and tasks. Remote control and management of devices and systems can be done with the M2M capabilities, and we can consider predictive maintenance, asset tracking, environmental monitoring, healthcare and telemedicine, smart home and IoT applications. So this is all about the M2M capabilities, and we have some various M2M applications. So before going into various M2M applications, we'll be seeing about M2M protocols. So M2M communicates relies on various standards and protocols. So it ensures the interoperability and efficient data exchange between devices and systems. So when you consider the first protocol, message queuing telemetry protocol, telemetry transport. So it uses public subscribe messaging protocol, so which is designed mainly for IoT and M2M applications. So it operates basically with the broker-based architecture, which allows devices to publish messages to a central server. Here we have a subscribers and we have brokers. So request response will be done between the brokers and the subscribers. So next we have COAP protocol. This COAP protocol is called as Constraint Application Protocol. So this is mainly used for M2M communication, and we have been using this protocol in constrained environments such as low power devices and network, and it is based on REST architecture. And moving on to the next protocol, we have LWM2M protocol. So this is the protocol, we call it as lightweight M2M. So it is a protocol developed by Open Access, Open Mobile Alliance, communicated with the M2M device in an IoT device. So it is used to manage and control devices remotely. So it can be used for firmware updates, monitoring, and configurations of devices. So next we have HTTP protocol. So it's a very common protocol. So it is widely used for web application. So it is used when interacting with web-based services and APIs. So next we have DDS. So DDS is for data distribution service. So it is a standard for real-time data distribution. And moving on to AMQP protocol, we call it as Advanced Message Queuing Protocol. So it is a messaging protocol that allows you for reliable message delivery between devices and systems. And considering the Zigbee, so already I've learned, so it's a low power wireless standard that works mainly on mesh topology, and it is defined by IEEE 802.15.4 standard. So it is used in our home automation and industrial settings for M2M communication. And we have some other communication standards, so like Z-Wave, 3GPP, and OPC UA. So considering Z-Wave, so it is another wireless communication standard used in smart home application and other M2M um, communication. So here we will be using 3GPP. So it defines various cellular standards which includes GSM, LTE, 5G, etc. So these standards are often used for M2M communication. And finally we'll go for OPC UA. So it's a basic machine-to-machine communication protocol. So which enables interoperability and data exchange between machines and systems. So there are several more M2M standards and protocols, which also includes Modbus, CAN, Thread, Bluetooth, LoRaWAN, Sigfox, AMT, XMPP, etc., and so on. So considering M2M applications, we have cellular-based M2M solutions which provide easier installation, and it also provisions short-term deployments. So when you consider M2M communication, this communication can be carried over mobile networks, for example, like GSM, GPRS, CDMA, EVDO networks, 4G LTE, and so on. So when you consider these type of M2M communication, the role of the mobile network is used to serve transport network, and M2M devices vary from high mobile vehicles communicating in a real time to which manages amounts of data to at a random instance. So it covers the communication between the M2M gateways and M2M applications. So we can have some basic examples like DSL, LTE, WiMAX, and WLAN. So these cellular M2M is widely adopted in energy, transport. It can also be used in real estate and agriculture sectors and so on. So when you consider M2M communication, so it helps in lowering the effect of transport sector. So MTM helps providing information regarding the best optimized route for vehicles. So a wastage of fuel can be avoided. So all these can be done with the M2M communication, so which can also reduce CO2 emission in vehicles, travel, and so on. So there are so many sectors in which M2M can also be used. For example, in the agriculture sector, we can use M2M, which provides solutions to monitor cattle health and grazing style. So it can also monitor soil monitoring, smart farming, and smart watering, and so on. So this helps you growing of large amount of crops with fewer resources, and hence saves money for farmers. And there are also so many applications where we can use M2M. So there are also some M2M references. So these references can be specified as standards. So standards include ETSI TS 102689. So this standard is specified for a machine-to-machine communication, M2M service requirements, and so on. And next we have a standard, we call it as ETSI TS 102690. So this also represents mission communication, mission to mission functional architecture, and so on. So when you consider M2M communication, it offers increased efficiency, and it also improves user experiences. So M2M protocols offer unique capabilities, such as we can use MQTT protocol, COAP protocol, which is used for lightweight messaging, and we can also use LWM2M protocol for remote device management, and we will be using DDS for real-time data distribution, HTTP for web-based interactions, and so on. So Zigbee, Z-Wave are used for low power wireless connections. So these are the basic things you have to know about M2M protocols. So already I told you about M2M system architecture. We have some architecture components, which includes system devices, connectivity, network infrastructure, gateway, cloud platform, and central server. You can use analytics or any other apps. You can also have user interface. So considering the M2M phases, we have data collection, transmission of data through network. Data assessment can also be done. Finally, the final phase you can consider as action or response based on assessment. Uh, so so this is all about mission to mission communication. So mission to mission communication architecture is very important. So M2M architecture is mainly used in remote monitoring. It can be used in predictive maintenance, automation, environmental monitoring, asset tracking, and more. So we have so many examples where we can use M2M concepts. So it can also be considered in smart meter. It can be used in agriculture. It can be used in electrical company. Considering the M2M applications, we can have M2M transport network, which covers access network, core network, and M2M service capabilities, and so on. So here we have M2M capabilities, where you can have environmental monitoring, healthcare and telemedicine, smart home and IoT applications, and so on. So there are various communications between M2M gateways and M2M applications. So we have seen all those examples. So these cellular M2M is widely adopted in energy. It can be used in transport applications, real estate, agriculture sectors, and so on. So various applications are also listed. So we have seen so many examples, and we have seen about machine to machine communication protocols, and we have uh, seen what are the various protocols here, where we can use M2M standards. So we have seen M2M references with two different standards, one with ETSI TS 102689, and other with ETSI TS 102690. So, 102.689 is mainly for M2M service requirements, and 102.690 is for M2M functional architecture. So this is all about the M2M communication. So here in the rest of the unit, you will be learning about the industrial automation pyramid and so on. So in the first part of unit 5, we have discussed about some issues in Arduino. So there are also some basic common mistakes which is followed. So first, for example, we can say incorrect writing. So with the basic symptoms, we can identify that also. So symptoms include communication components not working or behaving unexpectedly. So solutions can be given as double checking writing connections against schemes. So you can use a multimeter to test all these continuously. So there can also be some code errors. So symptoms you have to check based on the logic which where it doesn't execute as expected. So considering this type of issue, we have some solutions. So reviewing error message in the Arduino IDE, and you have to verify the logic flow, and you have to ensure library compatibility. So these issues are used for troubleshooting the Arduino board. Okay. So these are the common mistakes I'm listing you. So insufficient power supply can also become an erratic behavior. So components not turning on or Arduino randomly resetting everything is considered to be an issue. So you can also have solutions ensuring the power source which can provide the necessary current for all components. So you have to consider the external power sources for power hungry devices like motors and so on. And for example, if the we can face issues like noisy sensor readings. So we have symptoms like fluctuating or inconsistent sensor values. So here you can have some solutions like implementing software filtering, like multiple readings and averaging all those readings can also be done. So we have to ensure stable power to sensors, and we can consider using capacitors for smooth out voltage fluctuations and so on. So we can also have some debugging tools and techniques. So we can use serial monitor, we can use multimeter, oscilloscope, modular testing, and so on. So when you consider serial monitor, the built-in serial monitor in the Arduino IDE is invaluable. So using of serial.print statements in your code to monitor variable values, execution flow, or error messages can be done. So this debugging technique can also be used by using multimeter. So it's considered to be a versatile tool for measuring voltage, current, and resistance. So this multimeter helps in diagnosing circuit issues and verifying component functionality. So considering the other tool, we have oscilloscope. So for example, oscilloscope can visualize signals, which is useful for analyzing time dependent phenomena like PWM signals or communication pulses. So again, we can go for modular testing. So when building complex systems, so each test module or component individually can be integrated with them. So this modular approach helps isolate all these issues. So for having a long-lasting projects, you have to use the quality components. So first of all, you have to check with the circuits. So you have to go for pull up or pull down resistors for input pins to ensure predictable behavior. And you have to consider implementing current limiting resistors when it is needed, especially with the LEDs. So you can also consider adding surge protection or fuses for projects connected to high voltage sources. So you can also implement fail safes So for example, in some critical applications, we can write code and you can handle and recover from unexpected situations like power interruptions or sensor malfunctions. So you have to regularly back up your code every time. So you have to use some version control or cloud storage to keep a version of your sketches. So this practice safeguard against data loss, and it can help you track changes over time. So every time you have to document your work. So you have to maintain a detailed notes or journals, including schemes, code commands, and design rationales. So documentation can provide you with invaluable suggestions, revisiting a project with the communication with the other users. So the thing is, when you consider troubleshooting and it adheres to the best practices, so it's very crucial, and understanding the fundamentals of Arduino is a very tedious task. So considering this systematic approach to problem solving, it has to be coupled with some project management. So you have to ensure your project along with your challenge faced, that has to be overcome with the necessary solutions. So this is all about your debugging tools and techniques. So we have discussed some tools like serial monitor, multimeter, oscilloscope, modular testing, and so on. And you can also use quality components, and you can also protect your circuits. You can regularly back up your code, and you have to document all your work. So these are all the things we can manage with the Arduino issues. So there are so many other methods that can also be followed. So we'll see one by one. So we will also have some case study for rectifying or for managing these issues. Thank you.